Can I teach you? It's not hard. Honestly. But I can give you a quick demonstration real quick. But this is basically what you gotta do, right? Well, the two main things to know is, well, since that new piercing shot had came out, like they had updated it, it hits twice. So that's a really good filler ability to stack Bow of the Last Guardian, you know, stacks. So it kind of makes it easier. So the main thing is, in the beginning of the boss fight, you're probably going to use Death Swiftness, and if you have Ring of Vigor passive plus Conservation of Energy, you know, Archaeology, you're going to have 20%. So the main thing to notice is your stack. So pretend if you're here, Greater Ricochet pushes it all the way to 7. So when you bow spec, it'll proc itself. So it'll be like this. So pretend if you go in, have Greater Ricochet on what's it called? On Q. Right, so you see how that next hit procced it? So now watch this. So 7, and then bow spec. You can do piercing shot, 1 greater dazing shot, Bow of the Last Guardian, stall with corruption and fragmentation, do a snapshot, greater dazing, Bow of the Last Guardian, greater ricochet, Bow of the Last Guardian, greater dazing, snap, piercing shot, bow spec, stall with corruption, greater ricochet, bow spec, do greater dazing, piercing shot, Bow of the Last Guardian, greater dazing, and then you can stall here, because I'm on 3. Greater ricochet, bow spec, and it's something like that. Because you're always going to get the proc. So it's kind of like you have to always know what to do. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to the stacks. Always pay attention to your stacks. Like you see your stacks right here. You gotta pay attention to it. So every time, and you gotta know how much your abilities do. So we know Greater Ricochet with Karaming 4 hits 7 times. You need 8 hits to make the Bow of the Last Guardian proc. So and it can proc off itself. So if you bow spec, it'll trigger it. So it'll do double bow spec. So with rapid fire does 8 hits, but you can cut it off at 7. So yeah, let's just pretend this happened, right? Yeah, you just bow spec every time it hits 3 on the counter. Alright, so just pay attention again, right? I'm gonna try to make it look like this. Right, look, pay attention to this counter right here. Pay attention to it. Because Greater Ricochet is going to bring it to 7. Right, 7, bow spec, snapshot, greater dazing, bow spec, piercing shot. You can stall with corruption and fragmentation. Greater dazing, bow spec, greater ricochet, bow spec. You can greater dazing, piercing shot, bow spec. You can snapshot, greater dazing, bow spec, greater ricochet. You can stall here with corruption, frag, bow spec, greater dazing, bomb. Or you can go like that, get a greater dazing, bow spec, bomb, snapshot, greater dazing, bow spec, greater ricochet, stall with corruption and fragmentation to get your adrenaline, bow spec. And you can stall here with a what's it called, a rapid fire to make it do 3-on-3, make it do 6 hits. Stall here, you can piercing shot, you can do a double snapshot, greater dazing, piercing, bow spec. You can make it do something like that. That's to make it like that's a super general. Like if you want to just use basics and thresholds, that's super basic. That's a real, because you got to learn how to start counting. Or you can just let your mind go loose and just bow spec, and then about 30 seconds going in, you can just remember to bow spec again. Like you can just remind yourself every 30 seconds, I need to bow spec.